Hey Thinksters, what's up? It's Adam, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about one of the most important plots, the humble box plot. So let's dive right into it. What do you need for a box plot? Number one, you need to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Of course, this is a matplotlib tutorial, be a bit odd if you didn't import that right at the start. Number two, you need some data. That needs to be in an array-like object. That could be a list, a numpy array, a pandas series, something else potentially. We're going to store that in some variable data, and then all we have to do is call plt.boxplot, pass it our data, call plt.show, and boom, here we go. We've got a box plot. Pretty impressive, I would say, and very, very easy to do. Now, so what does it show us? So here, this orange line is the median. That's 50% of our data. It shows us the upper and lower quartiles. This is the upper quartile here. That's the 75% of our data is. And the lower quartile, the lower 25% of our data is. And then it also shows us the outlier. So these circles up here are outlier values, and there are no outlier values down here, but there definitely could be. Just this particular distribution didn't have any. So of course there are quite a lot of things we can do to improve this plot. Number one being, like, what do these numbers on the side mean? What does this data even represent? So let's dive into a more detailed example. So just want to give a bit of a background on boxplot. So it is an essential tool that you should be using when exploring data sets. But unfortunately, the boxplot function in Matplotlib, it just has so many keyword arguments. Like, I don't know about you, but I definitely don't feel joy and excitement when I see that number of keyword arguments. I feel like this is going to be quite a difficult function to use. So I want to, basically I've gone through them all, and I'm just going to cover the most essential ones that you will use most often so that you can get up and running and using this as quickly as possible. So what do box plots even show? So they show the distribution of numerical data. In particular, they're really good at showing if it is skewed and whether there are any sort of unusual observations or outliers. So you can see from this data here, it's skewed to below 25. 75% of the data is actually below $25, but it goes all the way up to above $50. So that's one example of it being skewed. Another really useful thing is that you can plot multiple box plots really easily on one figure. So for example, you can imagine another one here and another one here quite easily. And obviously you're plotting one variable here on the side, but you can plot it with respect to different things, as I will show you in a second. And this is where I would say they have an advantage over histograms, in that they really, because histograms, obviously you're also plotting one variable. Check out my article on histograms if you haven't already, if you're not sure how to use them. The link is there, but it doesn't seem to want to work. Doesn't matter. Yeah, histograms, if you plot more than kind of 2 or 3 on top of each other, it can get really crowded. But with a box plot, you can plot about 10 on a figure pretty happily and still infer loads of info. So this is great. Heads up though, this article is about how to work with box plots, so I'm not going to get into detail about how I generated the data sets. It did involve using a bit of pandas library and also using the Seaborn library, because I actually, if you follow this link here, it will take you to this page, the Seaborn box plot page. And I'm using a data set built into the Seaborn library. So if you want to follow along, feel free. So the situation. Let's assume you are a waiter or waitress at a restaurant, and you've recorded the total bill in US dollars for each table you waited from Thursday to Sunday last week. And you want to visualize this data to understand which days, if any, are the best to work. So the total bill for all the days is stored in total bill, and each entry in this numpy array is one table that you waited, and the value is just the total bill. So it could be $10, could be $50, could be something in between, whatever. And we also have 4 other numpy arrays, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which each contain just the total bills for the tables that you waited on those days. So the data we actually plotted above is this. It is actually total bill. So I'm just doing plt.boxplot plt.boxplot total bill, and then adding a title, a y label, calling show, and now we can understand that, you know, this y-axis is the total bill, and it's for all days last week. So now we can actually infer some information from it. For example, that the median, this orange line here, is about $17. Lower quartile is like 14. Upper quartile, pardon me, maybe 24, 25. So then the interquartile range, that's the upper quartile minus the lower quartile, is about $10. And we can see as well there are about 8 outliers up here. You see these like dark ones. There's like at least kind of 2 or 3, I would say, on each of them. Yes, so very unlikely then that you're going to get many tables more than $40, but also unlikely that you would get well, you can't get any less than about $3, so I guess that's nice. All right, so we've plotted one on a figure, but let's plot multiple ones. So we already have our lists, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All you need to do is put these like arrays into a list itself, and then pass that list to boxplot. So we just create a list of lists, all days, pass that to boxplots, and it understands that there are 4 different arrays that I've passed in, and it's going to show 4 different box plots. So now we can see, for example, we can really easily compare. We see that the median for these 2 days is higher than these first 2 days, and we also see that the total range of values is much greater. So like pretty much 100% of the data for this day is between $30 and about $5, but here it's between about $3 and all the way up to about $40, usually not if we exclude the outliers. So, all right, but we still need to label this. And we know that it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but if we just saw this picture for the first time, we wouldn't have a clue. So we need to label the x-axis values. And that's really easy to do. Unsurprisingly, we use the labels keyword argument when we call boxplot. And we just pass it a list of strings, and then that will, so in this case, we're going to use Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the same order that they are in this in this list, because they will be matched up exactly to each other. And then we just plot all days, and labels is labels, and now we see we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we see that Saturday and Sunday on average have higher total bills than Thursday and Friday. So this is great. Now, just a final bit of functionality for the labels keyword argument. If, for example, you didn't want to label one of these box plots for whatever reason, or you wanted to label something that isn't a string, for example, a number, you can also pass, you could pass, for example, an empty string, and you can also pass integers and floats. For example, here I've just changed labels to swapped out Friday for an empty string and swapped out Sunday for 999.9, and you'll see that there's nothing here, and then we got the number right there. So this is great. We've plotted multiple box plots on one figure, which is awesome, but still a bit boring. The Matplotlib defaults aren't, I would say, super interesting. So let's figure out how to make them more interesting. One of the best ways to do that is with color. So what we're going to end up with is we're just going to plot total bill, and we're going to make the inside of it red. Now, this is, I would say, where the boxplot function is a bit complicated, and it is possible. I'm going to show you how to do it, but it is a bit fiddly, and other libraries such as Seaborn, which is built on top of Matplotlib, can do things like this. You can do things like this really easily, where you're showing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, total bill, and then each of those days is split as to whether the table smoked or not. This is possible in Matplotlib, but it's very complex and out of the scope of this article, unfortunately. But it is all possible to do, and we're going to have to get a bit fiddly into under the hood to understand exactly what's going on. So the first thing you need to do is set the patch artist equals true keyword, patch artist keyword, to true. So why is this? So under the hood, plt.boxplot returns a dictionary, And each key value pair, each value is actually a line 2D object. So basically that's just one of the underlying objects in Matplotlib that creates a line. And as you know, a line is 1D, so they can't have an edge color or a face color, they just have one color, it's a line. So the box originally is actually a line because by default it doesn't have any fill color. Look, you can see right through it. So we can't give it a face color if it's a line, so therefore we have to turn it into something called a patch. So you can read about that here in the Matplotlib docs. And by definition, a patch is a 2D artist, so an artist is just anything on a figure in Matplotlib, with a face color and an edge color, and that is exactly what we want, right? We want to color the face of the box. So that's great. We want to patch artist equals true. And then to actually modify the box, we'll find out we're going to use this keyword box props, which stands for box properties. And this accepts a dictionary. And the key value pair you need is face color for the key, and then any kind of color string from Matplotlib as the value. So here we go. I know that was a lot, but let's go through it now. Oh, am I going to sneeze? No, I'm not. I'm fine. So plt.boxplot total bill. We know we're good up to here. Patch artist equals true, and then we're going to set the face color to red by setting box props equals dict, which is the dictionary constructor. Face color equals r, which stands for red. Close brackets, call plt.show, and here we go. This is it. For example, if we wanted to change it to a different color, for example, green, we get a green box plot there. Nice and easy. So if you don't set patch artist equals true, you will get an error. So even let's comment this out here, and you'll see we get this error. Attribute error, scroll down, a line 2D object has no property, face color. And that's why I think it's important to explain what's actually going on underneath and not just say, hey, just use this keyword argument, because if you get this, they're like, what is a line 2D object? Like, what? This doesn't make any sense. And it's because under the hood, boxplot returns lots of objects, and they're all line 2D objects, and they don't have face colors. So, but as I've been saying, it is a line. You may notice that there is this black line all the way around the boxplot, and we can change that as well. Let's say we want to change that to red. That's controlled by the color argument, and we just set that to equal C for some color C in our box props dictionary. So you'll see here, plt.boxplot total bill the same, patch artist equals true the same, box plots equals dict, face color equals R. This is all the same. The only thing we're changing is we're adding something in here. Color equals R. Again, R stands for red, and the color by default is this line around it. And you'll see the slight difference here. This is all red, and this has a black border. Okay, nice. Now let's look at changing the other parts, and this is where it can get really fiddly. So there are actually 6 parts in a Matplotlib plot, and wait, no, that's not it. I've changed the name. I've lost it. We've lost it. Here we go. All right, my bad. Let's go here. So these are the 6 parts of a Matplotlib plot. So there are flyers, which are these bits at the top. That's what they're called in Matplotlib. There are caps, which are these horizontal lines here. There's the whiskers, which are these vertical lines here and here. There's the boxes, which are these lines that go around the box here. And then the medians, which is the line in the middle. Now, there is also sometimes something else, which is the mean, but I haven't included it here because really you don't usually see means in box plots, but you can optionally include them, but we won't be discussing means here. So we've labeled all 5 of them, and each of these parts can be controlled or modified by a part props keyword argument. So it's similar to box props. So all the names are box props, median props, whisper props, cap props, flyer props, and mean props. So, and they all accept dictionaries, and they all accept the same keyword argument. So if you understand how to do it up here with box props, you'll be able to do it for everything else. So for example, to set the median line to red, we'd set median props is dict color equals red, or of course you could change red to just the letter R or any other color you want. Finally though, remember to set patch artist equals true if you want to fill the color of the box. You don't have to set patch artist equals true if you're not going to change the fill color, but so yeah, it's up to you. As I said, there's loads of keyword arguments, so the best thing to do, as you can see, I'm going to do down here, is I'll create a dictionary of all the keyword arguments I want to pass first. So we've got patch artist, box props, cap, flyer, median, whisker props. We set the dictionaries. They're pretty much all the same. They all have color equals C. Box props has face color equals C like above. And the only other different one is flyer props. So flyer, where are we? Flyers are these outliers up here. And you can see that they're actually like circles by default. So this keyword argument marker edge color changes the value, the color of the circle, like the circular line around there. So we need to change that as well. But you can change this, and it doesn't have to be a circle. It could be a filled circle. It could be a plus sign. It could be whatever you want. But by default, it's that circle. So what I'm going to do is create that dictionary ahead of time, and also I'm going to set the color to color everything the same. So this is a nice little trick. Do C equals R and then pass that everywhere and all your values everywhere you want it to be red. This is really nice because if actually I decide, oh no, I don't want it to be red, I want it to be black, I just have to change it here and everything still changes, which is lovely. So yeah, we create this red dictionary and then we do plt.boxplot total bill, and we do this really cool trick that not many people know. We're going to do star red dict, and that actually unpacks the whole thing and basically writes it out as you would expect. So total bill, so it writes it out like patch artist equals true, box props equals, dict, whatever, and so on, and it automatically unpacks it for you. And this was actually, so there's a really good article on the star operator that Chris made. And this was actually, funnily enough, the first ever article I read on Thinkster. And I thought it was so good that I signed up to the freelancer course because of this article. It's really, really good. And I learned so much from it. So I'd recommend you check it out as well. And as you can see, after we've gone through all of that, everything is red, which is awesome. And if we change this to case, black, capital K, you see everything changes really easily. So that's really nice. One thing you can do is you could create a function that takes like a color as an argument and returns the dictionary, and then you could like output this function if you wanted to. That could be a nice little extra homework assignment. Final thing you can do is, well, you've seen that we've kind of lost the median here. To get the median back, we can change median props to a different color. So we'll change it to K, and you'll see that now the median has come back. But I will just change this back here for red, just for ease. So, right, let's move on. And look at changing the width. So everything we've done, all the box plots have been the same width. So let's now look at making them crazy wide. So unsurprisingly, we use the widths keyword argument, and you can pass a float to it, and that represents the fraction of space that the box takes up on the figure. So if you have one box plot, the scalar represents the percentage of the plot, of the entire plot the box takes up. So here we've got total bill widths equals 1, so therefore it takes up 100% of the space, because 1 out of 1 is 100%. Now we're going to set widths equals 0.1, and now this box plot only takes up 10% of the space. If you plot multiple plots on the same plot, so for example all days, and you pass widths a float, all the boxes will be resized. They won't be resized to take up the whole space like this, but they'll be resized to take up the whole space that they have been supplied by Matplotlib. So you'll see that they're all touching here. if we set widths to 1, or if we set widths to 0.8, you'll see that they take up 80% of the space that they've been given, but there's still plenty of space in between them. Side note, this is my favorite width. I think this looks really good. It's kind of easier to see than the thinner ones. And really also, you'll see that Seaborn kind of uses quite wide plots as well. So I think I've kind of got it from there. Final thing you can do is pass a list of widths to modify each of the box plots separately. So here we've got widths equals 0.1, 0.9, 0.5, 0.8 to be 10%, 90%, 50%, and 80% width respectively. And you can see all the differences here. So this is possible, but I would recommend that you don't do this just because basically because you're adding a dimension to your data and you're not actually, it doesn't mean anything. For example, this doesn't mean like that it was that there were less people at the table, and this means that there were more people at the table, for example. So I would say only do this if it means something, like have different widths per box plot. But also I would say that I haven't seen it done that much in the real world. So I would say just pick a width that you're happy with and stick with that for box plots, but it's good to know that you can do it anyway. Final thing to look at is if you're not happy with these vertical box plots, you want to mix it up, you want to make them horizontal, all you have to do is set the vert, stands for vertical, keyword to false, and then all your box plots will be done horizontally. So that's it. You now know all the basics of box plots in Matplotlib. You've learned how to plot single and multiple box plots on one figure. You can label them whatever you want. You can change the color of any of the 6 parts to any color you can imagine, despite it being a bit fiddly. And you've learned how to customize the width and also the orientation of your plots as well. So there's still actually quite a lot to be learned about box plots. For example, changing the outlier markers, adding legends, sorting them by groups, and even working with them with the pandas library. But we'll leave that for another article. So if you loved this video, please give it a like, please subscribe. And if you're wondering where should we go from here, well, let me tell you, do you wish you could be a programmer full time, but you're not sure how to start? Then do what I did. I literally I read a Thinkster article, thought it was literally this Thinkster article, thought it was so amazing that I signed up for the Become a Python Freelancer course. So if you click this link here, we'll go to this page, and it is guaranteed to go from earning 0 to over $4,000 a month with the only Python Freelancer course guaranteed. So within 60 days of taking this course, you'll be earning $20 an hour or your money back, regardless of your level of Python freelancing. It's absolutely incredible. I'm actually talking to you from Bulgaria because I now live in a ski town and work remotely, all because of this course at the Python Freelancer. You'll see actually that here I am giving a testimonial, and I was actually have been earning $50 per hour within 2 months. There's countless testimonial videos on here. I'm actually on there twice because I love this course so much. So I can't recommend it enough. If you click the link here, it will take you to the product page, and you can sign up and get started. It's only $40. $50 today if you sign up for a limited time only. Do check out the rest of this page as well to find out exactly what's in here. It's absolutely incredible. So all that's left to say is thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.